Hello everyone, welcome back to Lift Parts Warehouse. Think your forklift can lift 5,000 pounds? That number is often misunderstood. Most operators look at the top number on the data plate and assume that's the limit, but in real conditions, that number changes. In this video, we're going to break down how to properly read a forklift data plate so you understand exactly what your machine can and cannot do. Let's start with identification. The model number tells you the general configuration of the forklift. It helps identify factors such as capacity class, fuel type, and overall design. The serial number is the most important number when it comes to service and parts. Every forklift has a unique serial number. When you combine the model and serial number, technicians can identify the exact configuration of that machine and match the correct parts. If you're ordering parts, these two numbers are always the first thing you need. Next is the mast information. The data plate will indicate the mast type, such as 2-stage, 3-stage, or 4-stage. This directly affects how high the forklift can lift. For example, a 2-stage mast might lift to around 130 to 150 inches, while a 3-stage mast can go up to 180 to 200 inches or more. You may also see tilt angles, especially back tilt. Back tilt is usually around 5 to 6 degrees, and it helps keep the load secure on the forks when traveling. Both mast type and tilt affect the forklift's stability when lifting and moving loads. The data plate will also list any attachments installed on the forklift, such as a side shifter or fork positioner. This section is critical. Attachments add weight and push the load forward, increasing the load center and reducing lifting capacity. For example, if a forklift is rated for 5,000 pounds without an attachment, adding a side shifter might reduce that capacity to around 4,700 to 4,800 pounds depending on the setup. So even though the forklift looks the same, its real lifting capability has changed. The fuel type tells you how the forklift is powered. For internal combustion forklifts, this is usually shown using abbreviations such as LP for liquid propane, D or DS for diesel, G for gasoline. These abbreviations help quickly identify the fuel system. This is important for operation, maintenance, and safety, since each fuel type has different service requirements and working environments. Next is the front tread, which is the width between the front wheels. This gives you the forklift's footprint. For example, a forklift with a 40-inch front tread will require more clearance than one with a 36-inch tread, especially in tight aisles. You'll also see tire size and type listed. Forklifts are designed for specific tires, and changing the size or type can affect stability and capacity. Always replace tires with the same specifications listed on the plate. The data plate also shows the truck's weight. For example, a typical 5,000-pound capacity forklift might weigh 8,000 to 9,000 pounds. This is important for floor load limits, transport and shipping, overall stability. Heavier trucks generally provide better counterbalance, but they also put more load on the floor. Now we get to the most important part, the capacity diagram. This is where you understand what the forklift can actually lift under specific conditions, and this is where most people make mistakes. The diagram will show the load center, usually around 24 inches. This means the weight is assumed to be evenly distributed 24 inches from the fork face. Now here's the key. If that load moves out to 30 inches, the forklift loses lifting capacity. For example, at 24-inch load center, 5,000 pounds capacity. At 30-inch load center may drop to around 4,200 to 4,500 pounds. The farther the load is, the less weight you can lift safely. Next is lift height. Let's say the forklift is rated 5,000 pounds at 130 inches. If you raise the load higher, for example to 180 inches, the capacity may drop to around 4,000 to 4,300 pounds. As height increases, stability decreases, reducing capacity. This is the actual number you should follow, but only under the listed conditions. So if your plate shows 5,000 pounds at 24-inch load center at 130 height, that does not mean you can lift 5,000 pounds at any height or any load position. Let's understand this better by putting it together. Here's a simple example. Base rating, 5,000 pounds. Load center increases to 30 inches. Lift height increases to 180 inches. Attachment installed. Your real capacity could drop to 3,800 to 4,200 pounds. That's a big difference, and this is exactly why the data plate matters. It is important to mention here that electric forklifts include additional information such as voltage, for example 48 volt or 80 volt, battery weight range, ampere-hour rating. For example, a battery may need to weigh between 1,500 and 2,000 pounds to maintain proper balance. Using the wrong battery can affect stability and damage the system. We'll cover the entire electric forklift data plate in detail in upcoming videos. There are many misconceptions and a lack of knowledge about reading the data plates. Some real-world issues include reading only the top capacity number, ignoring load center, ignoring attachments, lifting higher than rated conditions, assuming all forklifts of similar size perform the same. For example, two forklifts both labeled 5,000 pounds may have very different actual capacities depending on configuration. The forklift data plate is not just a label, it's a practical guide for how the machine is designed to operate. It tells you how much the forklift can safely lift, how high that load can be raised, and under what conditions those limits apply. And just as important, it helps ensure you're selecting the correct parts and attachments for your specific machine. Those details matter, both for safe operation and for getting the right components the first time. If you're working on a forklift and need parts, attachments, or components matched to your machine, we stock them by forklift make and model at Lift Parts Warehouse. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.